In this video, I'm going to be talking about what brain fog really is and the hidden mechanisms behind it. So you sleep 8 hours, your blood work came back normal. Maybe you've tried eating healthier, taking vitamins, drinking more coffee, even supplements to promise to boost your brain. And yet, you still can't think clearly. You lose your train of thought in the middle of a sentence. You walk into a room and forget why you're there. You read the same paragraph 3 times before it finally sticks. People call it brain fog. But here's the thing. What really is brain fog? Most explanations tell you your brain isn't making enough energy. So the solution must be more ATP, better mitochondria, another supplement. But what if your brain isn't struggling to produce energy? What if the real problem is that the energy never reaches the cells that need it in the first place? That one question changes everything. So brain fog can have many different causes. It could be poor sleep, thyroid disorders, anemia, medications, vitamin deficiencies, depression, chronic infections, even dehydration. Those possibilities should never be ignored, but if you've addressed the obvious causes and you're still struggling, there's another question that's really asked. Is your brain actually delivering oxygen and nutrients efficiently to the billions of cells that need them every second? Most people think about the brain like a battery. If it isn't working, assume it needs more fuel, more caffeine, more energy production. Mitochondria are important. Nutrition matters, sleep matters, inflammation matters, but if making more energy were the entire answer, why do so many people still experience fog after improving all those things? Maybe we're solving the wrong problem. Now, imagine a large city. The power plant is running, warehouses are full of food, water treatment is working perfectly. On paper, everything looks fine. But now every road leading into the city becomes congested. Delivery trucks can't reach neighborhoods, food sits in warehouses, emergency vehicles get delayed. Would the city begin to struggle? Of course. Not because production stopped, but because delivery broke down. Your brain works the same way. Your neurons are like the buildings inside that city. The mitochondria inside those neurons are like tiny power plants. But before those mitochondria can make energy, supplies have to arrive. Oxygen, glucose, nutrients. Those supplies travel through an incredibly complex transportation network before they even reach the cell. So stay with me here because this next part is where it gets specific. Your brain consumes roughly 20% of the oxygen you breathe. For an organ that makes up only 2% of your body weight, that is a disproportionate demand. And unlike your muscles, your brain never clocks out. Every thought, every moment, every memory, every movement, every breath requires billions of neurons firing together continuously. That means your brain depends on an uninterrupted delivery system 24 hours a day. Blood has to reach every tiny capillary, oxygen has to leave the red blood cells, glucose has to reach the tissue, waste has to be removed. Only then can your neurons produce the energy needed to keep your brain functioning. If any part of that chain slows down, your brain is not going to perform at its best. When people think about circulation, they picture the large arteries leaving the heart. But those aren't where the real exchange happens. The real exchange happens inside the vessels, so small you need a microscope to see them. And that's the capillaries. That's where oxygen actually leaves the blood. That's where nutrients are delivered. That's where waste begins its journey out. If blood isn't moving efficiently, through those tiny vessels, the delivery system starts to fail quietly. So here's the thing. Having oxygen in your blood is not the same as your brain receiving it. Red blood cells carry oxygen attached to a protein called hemoglobin. Think of hemoglobin as a delivery truck carrying cargo. The truck arriving at the destination isn't enough. The cargo still has to be unloaded. That's where something called the Bohr effect comes in. The Bohr effect describes how carbon dioxide helps hemoglobin release oxygen into the tissues that need it. Without that signal, oxygen can remain locked to the red blood cell, never reaching the neurons that actually depend on it. Oxygen present in the blood, but unable to reach the cell. Present, but unusable. So the question isn't simply, is oxygen in the blood? The question is oxygen actually leaving the blood and entering the brain? That's a completely different question. Now, this is where carbon dioxide enters the picture. Notice we didn't start the conversation here. We built the delivery framework first. Now carbon dioxide has somewhere to fit. Carbon dioxide isn't simply a waste gas your body is trying to eliminate. It's one of the key regulators that coordinate the entire delivery system. It helps regulate the diameter of the blood vessels, and even a modest increase in carbon dioxide can boost cerebral blood flow by up to 50%. It drives the Bohr effect, helping oxygen unload from hemoglobin precisely where it's needed. It influences how blood is distributed across the brain. It helps maintain the chemical environment your cells require to function. So carbon dioxide isn't the fuel, it's the control system that directs the fuel where it needs to go. And it doesn't compete with anything you're already doing. It's an upstream condition that determines how well everything else works. And there's one more piece worth understanding, and most people never hear about it. While you sleep, your brain runs a clearing cycle. It flushes out the metabolic waste that build up during the day. This system is called the lymphatic system, and it depends heavily on your breathing. When your breathing is shallow and carbon dioxide is low, that clearing cycle slows down. So you can sleep 8 hours and still wake up foggy, not because you're tired or not because the system failed, but because the brain didn't clear what it needed to. So you've probably felt this. The moment where the fog doesn't arrive all at once, it just settles in gradually. Words don't come across quickly, focus slips, simple decisions feel harder than they should. Mental endurance drops by afternoon. And it's tempting to assume your brain forgot how to produce energy. But maybe what's changing is how efficiently your brain is being supplied and cleared and cleaned. People keep reaching for more fuel, more caffeine, another supplement, another optimization. But if the delivery system hasn't changed, has the real problem actually been solved? The brain fog may have many different causes. No single explanation fits everyone. But if you've addressed the obvious problems and you're still searching for answers, it may be worth looking upstream, beyond energy production alone. Your brain doesn't need mitochondria, it needs blood flow, oxygen delivered, nutrients delivered, waste removed, billions of microscopic deliveries happening every second without interruption. This is what terrain, structure, and flow actually mean. Not as abstract ideas, but as the real infrastructure your brain depends on every second. You may not have an energy problem at all. You may have a delivery problem. When delivery improves, energy often follows.